Hello. I am so sorry for the few minutes late, but I don't know how many of you watched my live yesterday, where I explained that I had a whole bunch of issues with fixing the computer due to most likely Mercury retrograde. And the last cable adapter I ordered is supposed to come today, and I was hoping that it would come before the live, but it's not. And I had the the CPU already open, so I could just go in and plug in stuff, but it didn't, so I closed it back, and then when I turned it on, I realized that I played with the cables there, and probably something was hitting something else, and it was making so I had to reopen it and rearrange, put some zip ties there on the cables, and finally, turn on. That's why I said it might be a few minutes late, because I have to get down on the floor to do that, and it's a little bit of a pain to get up. So, hi Jessica, hi Elaine, hi Beth, hi Chris, hi Donna, hi Sharon, two Sharons, hi Arlena, and hi Judy. So, to explain real quick why we will do the Dahlia next Sunday, because I made the mistake of working a lot around the house and doing some stuff. And by the time I got around to sit and do the petals, my back was killing me. So if you see me getting up and you see some kind of brace around my waist, that's the reason. I realized that I wouldn't be able to, if I would finish the petals, I wouldn't be able to have the live, because it would have been way too long for me sitting. So I'm going to get them done for next time for sure. So I thought that it's a really fun thing to just play a little bit with making quick and easy, hi Ellen, quick and easy faux metal earrings. I'm going to use, for a little bit, I'm going to use the extruder. And if you haven't seen yet, one of the best things to keep your dies, and it is in my Amazon influencer store. Let me link the store. In my Amazon influencer store, there's a section that's called extruders and dies. And if you go in that section, you will find best thing to keep your dies in. Come on, my storefront. Amazon is very busy today. It takes forever to do stuff. Hi Renea, hi Isabel, Anastasia, hi Gail. Okay, so what I'm talking about is actually what numismats have to keep coins, and they work beautiful for the dies. Okay, and the way that I have them arranged is like multiple holes, just one hole of different sizes. Then here I have pretty much triangles, and then I have 4-sided holes, then 5-sided, then a couple of the more weird shapes, then 6-sided and more, and the cross, then lines, then weird shapes of dies. And why it's a good thing to, hi Robin, hi Sarah, why it's a good thing to keep them like that, because number one, you can organize them to be easy to find, and number two, because of these things are transparent, you can see exactly what you're looking for. So I thought of, yeah, and they are not too expensive. I think I have several there. Let me check. They are smaller and larger. As you can see, this one is not very large. I mean, if you don't have a whole bunch of dies, there's no reason to... Hold on, let me put you on my display so you can see what I'm doing. So as you can see, I arrange my store all in, and normally everything on each section, when I add something, it's going to push it up. So that's why there's no rhyme or reason to the order the sections are. This is how Amazon did it. But if we go to extruders and dies, we're gonna get there. There we go. So extruder and dies, and you have all kinds of stuff. And see how I placed here two of them. They are not very big, but these are the best. Make sure when you get them that you get them the grid size to be proper, because if you have a regular makings or even the walnut hollow one, you're gonna need the small ones, the 1 something inch. But if you have the Lucy extruder, then you need a little bit larger ones. The ones that I placed here are the regular ones, so you are going to go look for more, but at least you know how these things are called, right? You'll see that they are called the coin collector's album or coin holder. And again, don't go for too much if you only have a little bit. Yeah, generally, let me give you a few tips when using. I really need to do a tutorial on working with an extruder. When you work with an extruder, your clay has to be soft. You cannot really do a good job with an extruder with a firm clay. Unless you condition it, you super condition it, and then you add some extra conditioner. I don't know, but Anastasia, you should look in your Australian Amazon. I think that there is a large triangle for makings. Let me see. What's the largest triangle that I have here? It's not very large, but I'm sure that you can get some more. Let me look. I know Trish has quite a collection of dies. And I don't have all the die sets in makings, so there are more. I'm going to look after the live. I'm going to look to add some more if I find. Let me see what Trish has. Just a second. And by the way, Trish has some too, because I talked to her about it, and Trish has some extruder stuff. Okay. Let's see all the results. Let's see what we have here. So don't forget that Trish also has the drill adapter, so you can use a drill with your. There we go. We have the number guide. Let me get the number guide. Okay. And download it. see if it is the proper one. Okay, I should have gotten a so let's download the file. So what would be the largest? So I guess there is no very large triangle formations. These are the largest ones. Well, sorry, Elaine. With the makings, I have no problem. I had really big issues with the walnut hollow. But with the makings, it's really, actually I didn't even buy it. A friend sent it to me because she got a Lucy one and she sent me her makings. So, because I had the walnut hollow that was killing my hands, but the makings is so easy to use and so easy to, you know, to turn the handle and all that. So let me make a few lines. And if you have watched previously, there is a tutorial video that shows you how to do the faux metal without having to do antiquings in such a way that you only need to use the metal part. Excuse me. Let me find it. Let's see if it came up. What in the world? I hate this new. Did I mention that how much I hate it? No. Doesn't allow you to use shortcuts. You have to waste time. Okay, there we go. How to make faux oxidized metal using just scrap clay. So because I want to go for copper, I'm going to add some blue to it, not too much, just some, and let me give it a little bit of green as well. And you don't even have to use the, remember that I told you that in order to make your scrap clay more usable, kinda separate it by colors, and that way you'll have a whole bunch of new colors. Let me actually show you my colors, because this is how I almost dropped it. See, this is how I have them. They're all from separated clay, and then I can use the various colors very easily. And then I have little labels that tell me it's Fimo, it's souffle, Cernit is, let's see. So it's much easier to do it. So you don't have to waste brand new clay. You can simply use some of the scrap one. So I'm going to place it in, and then real quick mix it. It's easier to mix a color if you kind of do it half by hand and half by machine. It's going to go much faster, and also it's going to make some economy in the electric bill. Gosh, I was looking, I think that my bill for July is going to be like 140. Because we had those few super hot days, and now Thursday it starts again, and this time it says regular temperature it's going to be 101. So I guess we're gonna have like over 110 heat index, because that's the bad part here. We have very high humidity, and people who live in southern Texas know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's go one more time, and then it should be good. Thank you, Anastasia. And by the way, somebody asked me yesterday, I'm getting asked all kinds of questions. Where did I get such, because apparently yesterday I got up like I usually do, and somebody asked me where did I get such a long t-shirt. And it's kind of like a dress, it's more like a sleeping t-shirt, but I'm gonna give you the link. Just be aware of the fact that I only get them when they are on sale, because out of that list of colors there are sometimes for a day or two, but if you add them on your wish list, sometimes for a day or two there will be one of the colors cheaper, and the cheapness can be, the cheapest I got them was $5.97 or something. More often they are 7 something, but they are great. I usually, when they go on sale, I get 2 of whatever color it is, and they are great for crafting, because it's not something that's super expensive and you can afford to get it stained and stuff, and besides it's very neat in this heat. You don't have to worry about, kind of like a right below the knee t-shirt, you don't have to worry about wearing pajama pants or anything. So it's one less thing to wear and have to wash and all that. And you're perfectly presentable if somebody rings the doorbell or sees you or anything. So, but just you'll have, that's what I did. I added it to my personal wish list, and I get notifications when it goes on sale. Okay, honestly, it's not blue enough. I'm gonna do this one more time. I'm gonna add some more because I want it to be that blue tealy thing that copper gets when it gets oxidized. Sorry. I wanted to show you how it's done once again, even if you haven't. I gave you the recipes with what colors to get if you want to use the regular colors, you know, not the scrap clay. In that video tutorial that I posted up, I give you the recipes on what to do for various metals, like for copper, for bronze, for silver, for German silver, for brass. There are all the color combinations and the proportions. And that way, if your clay is already the color of the oxidization, of the natural oxidization of the metal, you don't have to worry about adding patina. All you have to worry about is, you know, rubbing the whatever metallic wax or mica you use or acrylic. And another tip, whenever you do aged metal, antique metal, one good idea is to use, let me see, it should be somewhere here, to use either a toothbrush, or it should be somewhere here, but as I said, I'm starting to bring, I'm almost done with rearranging the house, and I started to bring stuff. I brought stuff that was in the kitchen, and now I cannot find my stuff here. If not a toothbrush, you know, one of those brushes for cleaning your fingernails, and then just hit like this a few times, because that's going to intensify the look of old metal. Because most of the time old metal, you have to think that they weren't using beautiful textures. They most of the time they were cast in sand, and then they were using those little chisels to create various designs on them. And because of that, ancient metal most of the time looks with very, 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 very tiny pitting, and that's from the grains of sand. So using a toothbrush or a fingernail brush, very gently, you know, you just keep, it's going to make it look even more natural. It faster, I'm gonna go thinner. And now I can just fold it naturally. Okay, so now it is fairly bluish, and it's going to look just great whenever I get the, it looks like very, very old copper or bronze. And I didn't do the rolling in the end anymore because I wanted to make it super soft, so I wouldn't have problems going with it through the extruder. I know not all of it is going to fit, but so yeah, Gail asked about how easy it is to use the makings. With my hands, you can imagine that I needed something that really doesn't require a lot of strength. Alrighty, so let me grab this, and one thing, I guess I didn't bring a tile, so I'm gonna make them directly on the. I'm going to pass this through the machine on a more medium-ish setting, like a 5 or a 6 on the makings. Now about the size, I want to use this. This is one of the rose cutters, and you can find it on, let me remove the machine. You can find it on, not sure if Trish has it, but you can find it in the flowers cutters. Thank you. So I'm going to use this. Okay, let me actually get the smaller one, because I need the smaller one too. Why I didn't get the smaller one? Why I didn't get the smaller one to start with, I have no idea. Okay, so let me place it directly on this so I don't move it too much. Actually, no, I don't need this one. The second cut, I need to place it on the. So make sure there's no air bubbles. And before I do anything, I'm going to make it. I need to get another raspberry bead because they are only plastic. You cannot get glass ones. And they get attacked by the polymer clay. So my raspberry bead is messed up. So I'm just gonna get a ball stylus to make hammer-like pokes. And I'm doing this before cutting because as you do this, you're going to kind of deform a little bit the clay. And use two sizes. It's your best bet because not all the hammer strokes are the same size. But this imitates very well. You use 2 or 3 different sizes. This imitates very well how the metal is hammered. Is there any texture for this? Not that I know of, unfortunately. By what I could find up to date, only the raspberry bead works. And mine was starting to fall apart because I had quite a bit of them, but I used to, when people buy from my store, stuff from my store, I used to add some things. And I added raspberry beads. Yeah, thank you, Helena. Yeah, it does. That's the whole idea. It makes it look like if it were there. And I would even go, if I could find my brush. I have no idea where it is. I would even go with the brush a little bit. It was here. But then I brought all kinds of stuff and I placed them on top of the stuff that was here. So it's unfoundable right now. Anyway, so I'm going to first cut the big part, and then I'm going to cut a hole using a smaller cutter. Now the thing is that you're gonna say, oh, it doesn't fit. Yes, it fits, because I'm gonna put it backwards, so it's going to still fit. So 1 and 2. Now I'm going to have to be very careful, because I'm going to still do a little bit of dotting. Normally I would only use the brush, but who knows where my brush is? I don't. It's not. And I brought all kinds of stuff that was baked, because for example I told you I want to show you how to make a small Fabergé style egg jewelry box, and I have a whole bunch of these. I had them near the oven, so I brought everything up here to start arranging it in little boxes for each tutorial, because they are in steps. Anyway, so I'm going to cut and you can, your best bet is to make sure that here on this side, and this is still too big, on this side it's pretty much the same distance all over on this side, so don't and this way it's going to be just fine. Let's do the other one and try to keep the same distance. You can use your best bet. Honestly, what I found, if I want to keep this so I don't waste time measuring, I would just get the handle of a paintbrush or something and just use that as a reference. Of course you can go ahead and start measuring if you want, but my other advantage is that I'm pretty good at eyeballing after a lifetime of drawing. Hi Sonia. Okay, and now I'm going to very gently lift this. And I do need, give me just a second, let me try and find another. Oh, I have this. This should work. I have this really cute pen, so this should work. Maybe one of these days we should make a pen like this. But see, it's doing, you need this little pit in. Let me try and see, this is what you need. And you can do some on the other side as well. This is not that harsh of a stroke and doesn't, no, I'm gonna leave it here, doesn't deform the clay as much as the ball stylus does, so you don't have to worry about recutting the you can do this just with the brush. You don't have to do the ball stylus, really. And for some reason I took away my wax. Alright, so these would be fine by themselves, you know. Before adding anything else, I'm going to add a little bit of the wax. And this is the rich copper from Art Alchemy. Now, honestly, you find better the Art Alchemy waxes on Trish's store in PolyClay Play than on Amazon. On Amazon, they started being discontinued. So you might not be able to find certain colors. Alrighty. What you need to use, you know, you have those brushes that are for cleaning your fingernails. They are kind of like this, and I think that I did place one in my store. Should be in, I'm not sure if I put it in textures. Let me see. Or in tools. Let me see in tools. It's not in tools. Might be in textures. But I think that everybody pretty much knows. If you don't find one, just use an old toothbrush, but you need one with firm bristles. For this, you need something that has firm bristles, not a soft toothbrush. So no, it's not. Maybe in the miscellanea I put it. I don't know how I didn't put it here. No, it's not in the miscellanea either. But I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Hold on. Truth is that it took me a while to find it, to find one that really worked for what I wanted. And I got, if I'm not mistaken, I got this one. No, I didn't get this one. This one is too expensive. Hold on, let me look in my orders. Because I didn't want, sometimes with the plastic cheaper ones, you don't know what you're going to get. If it's going to be soft or if it's going to have hard bristles. There you go. So I got a wooden end. I'm gonna put it in miscellanea and still give you the link to it. I'm gonna put it in miscellanea and in tools, just to be on the safe side, so it can be found faster. Okay, and in both the miscellanea and the tools, it should be the first. Okay. And now both of those departments have moved on the top, so if you go again to my store, and did you find it? There you go. Did you find it in my store? Where did I put it? Because I couldn't find it. Hi, Natalia. Okay, so we are here, and as you can see, let me see what exactly I'm showing you. And as you can see, it looks very metallic-y. Now remember that this, once it is once it is perfectly baked and you allow it to dry a little bit, you can use a super soft cotton cloth and it will buff to metallic-y perfection. Now let's go ahead and use, I mean, you can use, of course, you can use a thin string, but let's go ahead and use one that's a little bit more spiffy. This is this. Is it on this side? Messed up this side. Let's get a half, one of those half circly things. You can do a line, of course, if you want to. That's a large half circle. And that's pretty much the only half circle I have, and it should work just fine. Of course, you can do, if you don't have an extruder, you can simply do another sheet, roll whatchamacallit, a screw over it, or a rod. I showed you that you can buy these rods at the local home improvement store, and they're like $3 or $4. The bigger they are, the more expensive they are. But these you find at the home improvement store, and you can get them in different sizes. And what you can do is simply, let me get this through the machine. You can simply run this over it. Back so I don't topple it on my feet or on Finnegan. And you can actually apply the wax before you cut it. It would be much easier that way, or you'll have to wait until after you bake to apply the wax. And let's make it a little bit more interesting. And this should be enough. Okay, I'm not going to make them both the same because I don't want to. Hi Donna. Thank you. Okay, so check your little strips, and then when you place them, you don't really have to place them all the way up to the top. If you want to, you can, but let's actually place one of them all the way up to the top. Will it stick on the wax? Yep. It's going to stick just fine. And just follow the edge here. That's all you need to do. And do the same on the other side. This one is too close to the edge here. And cut just this, not the whole. Be careful not to cut down. And then I'm going to get just a piece of this. And I'm going to place it under. And these are so simple. All these designs are so simple, but they are all very fabulous looking when you get them finished. So we got this. Let me give it some. I told you, I recommend that you get the wax on it first, because if you're not very used to doing this waxy thing. Another thing that you can do, and I'm going to actually do it on top of it. Let me go grab another wax. You can make these of different color metals if you have more than one. Okay, let me go grab another color wax. I'm looking for an aged brass or brushed iron would be good. I wouldn't use silver because this looks very... I cannot make it clearer than this. This is now focused on here. It's the best I can do as focusing. Let me try again. If I can do better focusing than this. No, this is the best I can do. I can try make it a little brighter. Let's see if that works. There we go. This better? Yeah, that might be a thing, the resolution you have set. So I wouldn't go with silver, I would go with the brushed iron, because the silver is a little bit too bright, while the brushed iron will give it that, I don't know, steampunkish effect, even if it's not really a steampunk because it doesn't have any steam gears on it. And then to top it off, what you can do is simply get a little ball. Yeah, I was amazed because I know that I normally have a very good quality picture. And then place the little ball here. You need something here because this is where you're going to bore the hole to attach the ear wire. And you can do my eyes, where's my eyes? You can just use the back of your X-Acto knife and do a little bit of screw-like thing here, and then you'll place the hole right in the middle of the screw. Now I'm going to get it closer to the camera so you can see it up close and personal. Give me just a second to refocus. So this is how it looks like. And of course, once it's baked and you can brush it, buff it, it's going to be just fine. Now let's work on this other one. Let me put a dab of, and you can even remember that asymmetrical different rings are very much in fashion, so you can actually make them in these two different ways, right? So let's grab a little bit of this semi-cylindrical thing. See, this is how easy it goes. I do it with one finger. Oops. It's really easy. It's just the position was a little bit difficult. And I'm going to change this later. But you can make it look, I'm not gonna leave it this long. And I'm going to apply the brushed iron before I set it in. Let me get this one perfect here. And you're gonna say, oh yeah, but it's bluish underneath. It's fine. It's gonna be just fine. If you want to make it look more natural, just do as I did before. Apply first the copper wax and then the brushed iron, because the copper wax is red and iron, when it oxidizes, goes red. So it's gonna look perfect. Okay. And again, as I said, these are very simple, but they are very, very conversation starters. Okay, this is still a little too long. Let me grab some more out of it. And once again, once it is baked, I'll bring it all the way to the edge here. Once it is baked, then you can brush it, buff it, and it will look exactly like metal. You might want to add one more coat of wax before buffing it. It should be fine. Now, let's do another thing. Because a lot of people are like, how can I make hoops with polymer clay? Again, remember I have a semicircle die. And I'm going to get my clay out, and this should be enough. And grab your round cutter to bake. Of course you can, if you have tiny jars, you can bake on jars, that's fine. I'm gonna make 2 different sizes. Leave about 1/3 of an inch, like almost 1 centimeter. And this is why it's good. It depends on how big you want your hoops. I usually go by the joint in the cutter, and I leave like 4 or 5 millimeters, and then you can align it either with the edge on this side or with the fold on the other side of the cutter, so that it will be just perfect. Will it stay like this? Yeah, it's thick enough so it wouldn't. Just make sure that after you're done, it's done baking, just dunk it in ice water, and it's going to because it's fairly thick and you risk it getting cracked. So you want, remember what I told you, that dunking in water is not necessarily just for the translucency. When you make thick pieces, if you let them cool off naturally, you risk them to crack. Why? Because physics. Because the surface of the thick piece is going to cool long before the core, and the core will be still very hot, so it will crack because the core is expanding, the surface is contracting, so boom. But if you prepare yourself a bowl with water and a few ice cubes, and as soon as you get it out of the oven, you dunk it in there, it's going to cool off all at once. So it's going to be really helpful to avoid your pieces getting. And now this one, you can simply leave it like this, right? Or you can place one type of, let me remove this. And I'm gonna do a small die this time. You can place one color of wax on the base. You know what? You leave me alone. Go to bed. You're driving me nuts today. I don't know what's wrong with Whisper today, but he wants. It's like every freaking several minutes he wants something. I fed him, I gave him, I let him go outside. He still wants. Today he's been really bad. No, you leave them in water until you feel they are cold. That's the rule of thumb. Until they are cold to the touch. Okay, let's place this one. It's a little bit shorter. See, I don't think this fits. No. I'm gonna place this one on here. And you can do the cutting after you place it if it's easier for you. But you want to leave a little bit of. And when you place the ear wire, your best bet, if you want them to look okay, you drill a hole in one of the ends, and that's going to be the front. And then you use a head pin going through, and then you make a little loop and connect it to the earpiece. And you can select whatever type of earpiece you want. Okay, let's get this. Remember not to press too much because you're going to deform your little semicircle thingy. I did try other shapes, but they might get too flexible, and especially if you want to attach stuff. Like, for example, you can do a really neat look if instead of a head pin you put a, what do they call them? I'm having a lot of brain farts this morning. The loop pin, and then you attach to that a little bead, you know, and you have a dangly in the middle of the hoop. Is going to look great. Or you can attach a little flower. So again, using the same, pretty much the same principles. Where's my rod? And you can do them backwards, you know, like you can put the brushed iron on this and then top it off with, of course you're gonna have to put some metal wax on the inside after it's baked. You can put the brushed iron on the base, and you can, I mean, remember you have so many choices with the Art Alchemy. I have to confess, when with stuff like the Art Alchemy, I cannot have peace. Eye pin, there you go, thank you. I cannot have peace until I get all the colors. It might take me a year, you know, because I would get one color or two colors this month, then wait for another month and get another color, you know, but I don't have peace and satisfaction until I get all the colors. So thank you so much, Elaine. I don't know what's wrong with my brain farts today. Okay, and again, I'll show you. This time I'm going to place the wax before I cut it, because it's so much easier than trying to place wax on a, but go only like this, don't go like this, go only like this, so you don't insert wax in the little lines. Okay, and again, you can go ahead and you can try all these kind of combinations all at once and make like, because of the fact that in fashion they are the asymmetrical, not totally alike, but sometimes somehow similar type of earrings. You can make yourself several combinations and then you'll be able to wear them all over the place. Okay, and to place it, again, make sure that you get the little joining area there, and you just go on the very top of the semicircle. Sorry, my hands. Hey, stay there. And you can make this with goldish stuff, you can make this with all kinds of color, but they will look just fine. You can add, you can make a few dents with your bowl stylus and insert some hot fix rhinestones if you want. But see, this is a very simple I would leave it for like half an hour, not more. You might be using an improper buffing fabric, because if your fabric is too rough, it's going to take it off. And again, I'm not gonna bother with the wax this time, but just to show you how. First you want to kind of get your middle where it should be. And then just arrange it on the peak of the mountain. Yay. And this one also works if you want to do the Constantino style stuff, the silver mixed with gold. For a gold, really gold, your best bet is still the aged brass. It looks more, but you can add a little bit of white gold on top of it to make it look more goldish. I don't know, you sure you're not rubbing instead of buffing? And just leave it an hour if you have problems with it. Normally mine, it takes between 15 and 30 minutes. But I normally don't hurry. I just put them aside and come back later. Alrighty. So check if it's right in the middle, and there you have two different hoops. And we go very easy with simple but fancy, after they are done, earrings. And again, your problem will be to get this on the very middle. Can you do it with just a simple flat? You can, but I suggest you do it like twice the thickness, your thickest setting, just sandwich two, and you can do it around a cutter. Don't go thinner than that. Don't go with just one sheet of thickest setting, because it's going to start fainting on you. You know, it's not going to stay round. So I hope you liked it. I tried to make it short and interesting. And I promise you next Sunday we will be finished the dahlia. I already made the brooch part, and remember where you can find it. I put the links. And this will be pretty much it. I still have just a little bit to organize around the house, and then I should be ready to go full. Let me see. Well, this is what worries me, because okay, let me see if now at least it says out for delivery. Yes, it finally says out for delivery. But see, that's what was worrying me, because it didn't show out for delivery. Like I have, see, I have some areas they are still, but they theoretically, they got to the delivery center. See, they arrived at the carrier facility this morning, but they are not out for delivery yet. So let's hope it comes in due time so I can fix my computer and start working on editing videos. Thank you so much, and you have whatever's left of the Independence Day weekend, and we'll play more next time with flowers. And don't forget, Trish has for how long she's going to have, because she has a limited amount. She's going to buy more after she sells them. She has the soft UV resin, and we will make some UV resin stuff, soft UV resin stuff soon. Okay, thank you so much. Take care and protect yourselves and wash your hands and all that stuff. Have a great Sunday. Bye.